Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game between a bad person because they're playing Ostre Commando and they're going up against a Polish person because they're playing Poland. And I can't pronounce their name, that means they're Polish. So we'll go through the deck reviews and then we'll get back to it. Right, so we've got Val playing Ostre Commando. I mean, I don't know why people send me replays of them playing Ostre Commando. All I'm going to do is flame you for 40 minutes for being a bad person. In terms of the deck, I did an Erstalang Commando division review recently, and I assume this has been largely based off that. So you see you got the 3 cards of Centurion Mark 5s, the 3 cards of Infantry Panave at 2 vet, 3 cards of Supply, the HGV Führer, is that the one? It is the one, the 12-man one. Redmond, I'm surprised you bother bringing this. Why not just bring more HGV Führer? Do you need the red eye that badly? Probably not. And then you don't need this, do you? Because you're gonna have loads and loads and loads of CVs. So, 3, 6, 8, right? 3 cards of supply. Okay. I mean, sadly, these are like all 1 per card and stuff. Like all the good ones are, because like this doesn't have a lot of range and so on. And so it's hard to. It's usually like up vet 2 or whatever. But yeah, the 203s for killing people, and then this for counter battery, and then this for smoke. That can work. Um, Probably get the M41 DKs here at this point. Basically, like, this is just kind of broken and needs to be more expensive. And the other one is, like, specialist anti-infantry, I guess, but the one on the right just sort of does everything. So you don't really need the Centurion Mark 5 or the M41 DK. This is a little bit more kind of specialist anti-tank. Because it's got oh, it used to have more range. Now it doesn't even have more range. It's got less armor and stuff. So if you got more cards of this, you'd bring more cards of this. Basically, these at 2 vet, okay. Recon Helo, this thing for the forward deployment. Yeah, I think that's all good. And then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 fighters. So you want to get rid of this one, and then you use that to, like, why aren't you bringing? Reload time's quite high, but yeah, you bring the HE cluster. Yeah, I mean, it's like, sort of a broken div. You still got 2 AP, so yeah, probably more tanks. Maybe you can bring a CV thing. Or the alternative is, right, you get rid of this, then you bring the CV tank, and then you still have 2, 5, 7 CVs. And then you bring the engineers because they've got laws and satchels, so they're pretty good. So they're actually a pretty good unit. You see people bringing the HGV. Generally, it's not really worth it. 50 points for 12 guys, 40 points for 8 guys, and also not reservist and can be brought at 2 vet, right? So, I mean, the HGV can be useful, but I don't really think you need it. Just spam out more infantry Panave at 2 vet. Actually win those fights, right? Actually win those fights. Also means you don't have to bring like military police because you got you don't have to worry about the reservist trait and all this. So yeah, you're a bad person, and yeah, you should feel bad. Anyway, 20th Polish is also kind of meta. It's not stupid though. You don't see a lot of people play it anymore. It doesn't mean it's suddenly bad. It's just the meta sweaters basically play whatever's meta. 3 Danners is kind of weird. You probably don't want to do that. And you need 3 cards of supply if you've got the Danners because of the 6 rate of the 6 salvo length. They just burn through supply like nobody's business. They're not as good as they used to be because of the 6 salvo length. You find that you're stood still for a long time shooting. You tend to get captured. If you really want more arty, you bring the Grad, put that at 1 vet with a CV next to it, and Bob's your uncle. You probably want the 3 per card CV over the 2 per card CV. So always faster. It just doesn't matter. And then you've got, 7 CVs, coffin launchers, T-72s, etc. We've got 2 AP spare because of the artillery, right? So you don't get conkers, you sort of have to cope, and like you don't need this many sappers. unless you're just hilariously wasteful with your infantry, in which case that's the problem you should solve. You probably want a card of BMP1s, because I only bring one card of BMP2s now. I mean, if you're playing for the late game, you can bring two, but generally they're not really that good. I think you want a card of BMP1 so you can just like spam them out because it's 70 points. No MMG teams is kind of rough, but you've got cheap infantry here, so you can sort of get away with not bringing it. The Scott 2s, I think the Scott 2A is just worth 5 more points for the extra damage and the second thing. I mean, it's up to you, really. I mean, this will still kill an infantry squad, so maybe it's better to save the points. Yeah, Honka Reese goes fast. This goes with your tanks. Your tanks can see. Do you not want more Honka Reese? It's got a better gun. It's going to go faster because of the special forces. I feel like you want more Honka Reese. From Strela Shilka. The Strela and the Shilka are they have very similar roles. And given that you don't have... so I bring this one because if there's seed, it's still going to shoot, and it also outranges the Apaches, and this doesn't. So between the two, I bring this one. And then you might want to bring... so you can bring it either one. I prefer this one, because you don't have the MMG teams. This is like a really good kind of landmine. You put it in an area after you've taken it, and then you just kill everybody who comes into that area, all the infantry. Or you can bring... I like having manpads, even though these manpads aren't very good, so you can bring those. Yeah, you can 2-vet that if you want. Yeah, I prefer the bigger rockets. And then, yeah, your fighters are bad. So this thing's kind of crazy, and then between the fighters, you've got the one that doesn't shoot at helicopters and has less missiles. And then this one, so obviously I think this one's better. Although, the number of missiles is the same. It's another one where there's a different number of missiles, or maybe they just fixed it. I don't know. Yeah, anti-infantry, anti-tank. I think that's fine. The main thing is you buy tanks to kill tanks, and then you're stuck with this 2 AP slot, which is kind of annoying. So you could bring 3 more CVs here, so you've got 6, and then you bring 1 less tank CV, so you can... No, actually, tell you what you want to do. You got 3 cards of supply, you should bring the Grad, and put the CV next to the Grad to upvet the Grad. And honestly, it can be pretty useful since the change. Can be pretty useful. Because all the other ones are 3-pointers. Like, it'd be nice to have more planes, but it's a 3-pointer. So, the Grad at 1-vet for counter battery. You sort of bring it up to near the middle of the map and just put it on counter battery and just leave it. Wait for the enemy RT to fire, and then this will just hose it down and kill it. Because with the CV, it's like 15-second aim time. It's actually pretty good, and you've got the 3 cards of supply anyway, so I think that's a pretty decent idea. So yeah, you've got a sort of, the bad guys versus the well, let's just cut the game. Right, so with that out of the way, you'd expect Ostre to win. I mean, it's broken. 20th Polish is still meta, but people don't play it as much because generally, right, I mean, this guy, I assume, is just playing it because he's Polish. There's always going to be some section of players who just play whatever div's strongest, right? So it's whatever. Second Panzer, I play Second Panzer. 5E, I play 5E, Ostre, I play Ostre. And 20th Polish was that div for a while, and it got nerfed, and then the sort of the swarm of bad people, right, move to Ostre, and then there'll be another OP div, and they'll move to that. You have to appreciate that in this game. That is just what happens, right? That's just life. That's just human nature, right? You're always going to get people who are just like, well, I want to maximize my chances of winning. How do I do that? I pick this, okay, and that's... you can't fix human nature. So that's why you don't see 20th Polish anymore, because it's not because it's not strong anymore, it's just because it used to be stronger, and so the bad people used to play. Anyway, it is just a video game. Looking at the deployments, we've got a bunch of Roz Specialny in the wrong transport, so they're going to go really slow. I did speak about this in the deck review. Apparently he wants to fast move this back to here. It's going to be one of those games, I guess. If they're in the Honkaris, they go faster, and I assumed that's why he had them in this transport, because he would open with these, right, and then these would back him up. But instead he's just opening with these, even though they're in the wrong transport, so they're just going to get there really slowly. Behind that, we've got a bunch of unspeakable ones, which are deploying way too far back. 2 T-55s and a Strela. Recon Helo. A bunch of guys just deploying to the middle of the map. It's like a troll game or something. Unspeakable 1 and a T-55A. Switching to his opponent. No signs of intelligent life on this side of the map either. These don't have stabilizers. I mean, they do actually shoot while moving, this isn't correct, but they don't have stabilizers, so the chance of hitting is basically just from the vet. Otherwise it'd be 0. So, you don't want to do that. And also, why are you conga lining 4 of them over to here? What's the plan? You've got better infantry, you want to fight where the infantry is. There's 3 points here, there's 1 point there, so why are you attacking this point? We got some forward deployed AA. The airborne forward deployed. It's like this is going too far back, it could get to there, or you could get one here, that would be good. One there, one here, and one to here would be the best bet. He's obviously not doing that. And then we got a bunch of Live Garden just sort of deploying in the open field, and an Ito, and yeah, okay, interesting. Let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners generously joining the channel. The tier 4 channel joiners can send 1 game per month to be cast. So there's all skill levels are welcome. But if you do something dumb, I'm going to insult you, and that has sadly left a bad taste in the mouth of a lot of people who have bought this service, because they're like, why aren't you glazing me? I've had all sorts. I've had people. I do the cast, I upload it, and they ask me to take it down because it makes them look too bad. So, for example, if you were to not open with the cheap vehicle CVs, open with the infantry CV and just drive past the zone and not cap it, I would call you an idiot. So you'd want to open with 2 45 pointers. One goes golf across into Bravo this road. You don't want to come down this road because you might get shot. The other one goes Hotel India Foxtrot, and then you bring the one from Bravo into Delta, or you buy a 3rd CV. Obviously, if you drive through the zones, you're not going to cap the zones, etc., etc. On the other point, I get a lot of people, I'm not good enough to play multiplayer. Especially ranked, it's too high level for me. Well, you don't... This guy's just deployed like all the way back here. So generally, space is a resource. There are resources in this game. Points is the obvious one. Availability of units is the obvious one. What people don't understand, or at least don't quantify in that manner, you just got sideshot by an Ito there, is that space and time are also resources, and you need to manage your resources if you want to win. So I don't have auto cover on because it makes it harder to hide behind buildings and stuff. But I do have a hotkey bound to switch it on. Now, I would recommend that if you don't play that much Warno, you should have auto cover on. Because then that guy would have been in that building, that SU wouldn't have seen him, and he wouldn't have died. Because when he killed the unit, the vision would have gone. Despite that, things are going pretty well for blue, because red just sort of gave up. I don't know, he's just back here. So, when in the deployment, when I was like, you shift queued the units back to here, I guess he doesn't know how the cell works, and he just assumes that if you shift queue them back to the spawn, they sell. In the UK, they pay teachers loads because nobody wants to do it. Because you're not allowed to hit the kids. This reminds me of that for some reason. So he doesn't know about the auto sell. Or no, actually, he's gone into the settings and deliberately switched that off because it's on by default. And now he's just manually pathing the. I've never seen that. I've played this game for 4,000 hours. I've never seen anybody do that. Unload the unit and manually fast move it back to spawn because you think that makes it sell. So, yeah, I don't think he's realised yet that hotel isn't capped. He never moved this into the next zone, despite that he is winning because at the start of the map, he went to the middle and his opponent didn't do that. So there's kind of tiers to this. If you play a lot of RTS games, if you play a lot of video games in general, you can sort of skip some of the steps because to you they'll seem obvious. But, sometimes I'm talking to people in this game and then I'm like, this guy's a bit special. And it turns out they're like 12, and it's like, oh, I'm going to get Doctor disrespected. So, so you never know, right? But yeah, I think Blue's obviously got he's further ahead on the in the evolutionary chain, right? He's got the opposable thumbs. He's gone to the middle of the map at the start of the game, and if you play a lot of games, that's sort of obvious, right? Because well, you should you'll probably meet in the middle. But if you don't play that many video games, it's not obvious, right? It's not obvious. There's also a lot of people who only play this game while on drugs. There's one pretty infamous player who does that, actually. Yeah, he's actually a really nice bloke. So he stopped right outside the zone to get some fuel. Is this a troll game? I've had people send me games where they're like, it was like just them playing against the AI and stuff like that. And, sooner or later you gotta sort of draw the line. Yeah. So the Saperzi, they've got satchels and comars. The idea is that you have to if you just attack move, you'll not be in satchel range because the vision in the forest is obviously larger than the satchel range. It's about 350 meters of vision in the forest. It's something dumb like 348. And so you have to manually move it closer. So the Cargo Stab isn't that good at all. If you ever play something like 4th UK, you very quickly start to realise that you don't have any lore 80s in the whole division. It's very annoying. What's the other one? 5th Panzer, way better div. Similar struggles with infantry AT. Their best AT is the Cargo Stab M2 with 16 AP. But yeah, so if your micro's not that great, bring in a satchel squad that also has AT is pretty useful because then you don't get caught out. Having said that, the Komars are pretty bad, so he did survive there. And he did smoke and reverse, so that there is something going on. The issue with having the vehicle next to the infantry is that when the vehicle gets blown up, the infantry are going to get super stressed out. So, you see, just immediately went to low cohesion because of the explosion. So that's something you really need to consider when you're bringing these vehicles into these forests. But, sending a T-72 in, or even a Centurion, if you know what's in there, if you know your enemy's div. So basically, both of these divs are divs that don't have good close-range infantry AT. It's one of the few disadvantages that Ostre actually gets. But yeah, the Polish divs are sort of infamous for that. Although they can get like an anti-tank squad, but obviously it wasn't here in this case, so it can be worth sending the Centurion in and just, you do have to pay some attention. So yeah, +3 to blue. May it continue. Then we'll be out of here in 13 minutes. But yeah, red has recovered from his sort of, stupor and is actually attacking. So with the AT on these guys, he's going to get some free supply. His opponent has given him some supply. So do watch your supply, right? Oh, he's just run off. I guess the Komars, yeah, the Komars are not very good. He needs a motor strelki or whatever they're called. What is the Polish one called? It's not Motschutsen. It's not motor strelki. Something else. He's using the mortar for HE. That actually does something now, so that's nice. Putting the Eyehawk here is a bit risky for obvious reasons. And the Centurion is probably... He doesn't know about these two, so I understand continuing to... So he gets a whole breach crit there. He just must be a very good player. And he's going for the unspeakable one. That's a good shout. His opponent has bought 2 RT at once, which kills your momentum. It's like 2 minutes income just down the drain. So he's turned off auto sell, so he can manually fast move the UASs to the spawn, and then when he remembers, he hits sell. Now, for starters, you can have auto sell on, but you know when you like shift queue the unload, right? You can actually shift queue the sell order as well. So you can do shift L, and then it'll unload, and then it'll go sell it. I recommend having the auto sell on. I suppose a lot of the, the content creators. So first plane out from Ostre. That was moving, that's why it lost the tracking. As was this, okay. They would one-shot it. Yeah. I can't remember what I was saying. It probably wasn't important. So, as long as Red... Like, I don't understand why... He just sort of puts them here and then... Let's see how many games he has. So, this is probably going to die. Okay, he gets very lucky there. But you'll notice the AT, even if it doesn't kill the vehicle, the splash of the AT will suppress the infantry a bit. So you do have to be very careful about that. So he's brought the seed, and I just don't understand the mindset of having 4 of your 4 best units here doing nothing all game. So imagine if he just sent them to here. Well, they'd be shooting this in the side, and because the recon isn't in a place where it can spot it, it wouldn't actually be able to see it. Well, maybe this would spot it. So yeah, you'd have 2, even all 4 of them, you could just... yeah. I guess he's just not looking. Low cohesion makes your units do like 12% of the damage, something crazy like that. So it's very important that you protect your cohesion when you get low cohesion, unless you're there deliberately because you need to scout something because something else is coming into position. As soon as you get low cohesion, you should go back. Go get your cohesion back, because you are useless unless your job is there to, hold the ground, just scout. Generally, you need to get used to whatever, but yeah, the Eyehawk here is a bit risky because something here can actually see through that whole forest if it has sufficient recon power. Well, most of it. So you'd want it back here to protect this side. But yeah, I mean, blue at least, he's moving up. His opponent is also trying to move up. Ursa is a bit of a silly div. Honestly, I'd say if you're new at the game, we'll see how many games they have at the end. I mean, it's obviously very easy for me to be like, haha, you bad, when I have 4,000 hours in this game. I think most people would say that's not worth it. So that's fair enough. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend playing Ostre if you're new at the game, because, like, it is broken. But there are divs that are also broken that are much easier to execute. Second Panzergren is the one I always recommend. It is completely busted. The only person I've spoken to who doesn't think that, surprise, surprise, really, really likes Second Panzergren and plays it all the time. So, anyway, yeah, blue's sort of getting bullied. I mean, this is where you would get an ATGM vehicle back here, but yeah, Ostre doesn't have ATGM helos, and plane spam is very easy to get wrong, whereas Second Panzergren also has plane spam and has better infantry AT, and the Pioneer Flam right now is completely broken. It's just way easier to execute, and it's got better forward deployment. So the Cubs are actually switched off, which is so evac it. Why do you evac it? You need to protect this. don't understand what. So you know when you see it like suddenly go like woo, it's because it's lost the tracking. So sometimes it happens because of a hill, but usually it happens because you move it. I have seen it happen. Maybe you just switched it off. Maybe this just ran into it. I have seen that happen. So red, I mean, yeah, the Ihawk dies obviously, and if you're blue, like there should be an ATGM in here. There should be tanks in here. He has bought the tow too. But you know, you'd want that here at this point. We've got the timeless classic, just buy 3 of the same unit and not have any AT. But yeah, blue sort of crumbling under the pressure. He did that thing where he just buys loads of planes and loads of RT and then he loses ground because he doesn't have any units on the ground. Which is very, very common. If he still had that seed plane up, it would be useful here, but he evac'd it. And he doesn't have any AA because his Ihawk died. So it looks like red's going to take this, which is a terrible day for humanity because it means the game's going to go on for longer. But yeah, imagine if he used his 4 best units to come over here and sideshot all these tanks with the recon and everything, wouldn't it? But yeah. Yeah, these would be shooting from the front, these would be shooting from the side, these 2 tanks would be dead. Maybe he never would have got in here, but obviously if he came down this road he would. You'd want, you know, recon in here, a couple Centurions like here. But all the points went into planes and RT, planes and RT. And if you just buy 3 RT at once and 3 planes at once, which is literally what he did, well then you've got nothing on the ground for coming in for 6 minutes. And then surprise, surprise, you lose the zone. So it is what it is. So he buys more sappers, so he's still not got the AT, because this is not the one that also has AT, so these Centurions, he doesn't really know that. He does get recon healers, there should be one around here. He can look. But yeah, sadly there's a sort of very popular, like everybody does it to some extent, where people, they just buy a unit that is a mobile unit, right? If it's like an anti-tank gun and, you know, and it's kind of stationary, some infantry, it's not going to move that far, but these are mobile fire platforms. And he buys them, he puts them there, and just, completely forgets about it. Would have been very, he would just would have won this fight, basically. So red, I guess we'll just continue to blob. It should really be moving up the Cubs and the mortars, and this guy who's just been sat there for ages. I'm not sure why. And blue, you know, blue could have counter pushed here with the units he has, although he doesn't really have. This Ihawk is not in a good position. It depends what's happening. Sometimes I have put one there in the past because somebody keeps coming around this side, and so I put it there, but you know, if you want to, because the point is that this is mostly wasted space, for the most part, right? If you've got somebody who constantly comes around here, flies around here, and then snipes your stuff, which I have had happen, and that was a really annoying game, then yes, by all means put that there. But he sold the transport, you can't move it. Now he needs to move this, because the RT should shoot it. He does have the recon healer, so it is happening. And these, you know, they're going to keep coming off cooldown, so... Yeah, they're not having the seed plane out. I mean, the Cubs only have to hit him once. It's just they're too far away, and it's got 30% ECM. And yeah, just got to get into the habit of, because like you don't. When he bought this, the front line was probably here, so that's, you know, it's the same with when he bought these over here. I assume that's what's going on, and so you just got to pay more attention, and that literally just comes from practice. I mean, it depends how much effort you want to put in. Yeah, it's like fast moving instead of attack moving. He's got the seed out, but you know, like he just keeps buying planes, and that means he's just got nothing on the ground. Air spam is really not as strong as people seem to think it is. It's just kind of like a really strong counter in certain situations. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if your enemy buys a tank, he's gonna get, if he uses it properly, he will actually get more value out of it, but it happens over time. The tank is slow, you kind of see it coming, whereas the air is like, you know, snap, 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 dead, 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 right? And so people don't, like, oh, it's completely unfair, but they're not understanding that the plane is more expensive than the thing it just killed, and so it would have to do that twice, and the AA should kill the plane. But do you know what I mean? It's such a strong counter that it upsets a lot of people. There's also some matchups where, you know, well, I mean, there's some matchups where you don't have any tanks, your enemy has tanks, and then you just lose every game, and that's airborne in general, right? And similarly, there's some matchups where you don't have good AA and your enemy has really good air. That's not the case here. The guy's just got his cubs way too far away, and despite that, you know, he's making a lot of ground, despite the fact that the bombers are just routinely killing his stuff, and that's because of the cost efficiency argument. But yeah, the cubs should be closer. The CV tank should not be in front, because that's... I mean, I can hear planes. Oh, they're both fighters. Yeah. So, he has started buying... Although I don't know why he keeps using this road. And I don't know why he's using the fast move, but it's just really depressing watching these just sit there while all their friends die. So yeah, +1 for blue. I mean, he just has to buy some ground units. Can't push here, he would just walk in. The Ito isn't in a building. I mean, if that was in this building, it would have side-shot that CV tank as it came in, and the CV tank would be dead. Yep. Why isn't that going on the CV? The seed wasn't in position. Is he seriously going to lose this game? He's got 19 minutes, but, you know, like, Red, basically, going for this is nice and all, but, like, Red's just completely monging out. He should just switch this way and just sweep this way, because that's a zone, you're covered by your AA the whole time. This is really near the enemy spawn. What you can do is you attack here, he buys loads of stuff for here, and then you back out and sweep across. He's actually doing that. So there you go, there is Intelligent Life. I'm not sure why the Intelligent Life keeps 1 HP T-72s out in the middle of an open field without AA, or, you know, the recon's not really with them. But yeah, Blue just, I mean, he's realised his mistake now. Crap, I bought nothing but planes and arty for like 6 or 7 minutes. But can he make it back? He's losing all the arty now. He's losing the planes as well. These are sweeping across. The Ito is in a building. That was another side shot. This isn't engaged. Why was it? Oh, because of the... No, I'm really not sure why, actually. Maybe I couldn't see it. Yeah, I don't know, the indicate... Like, oh, I got a fast move. Hang on, is this... Has he got the... There's a setting you can have on that makes the default move a fast move. Maybe that's what's going on. But yeah, it looks like Red is gonna take more zones, and Blue, he is counter pushing here now. Actually, the Ihawks too far away, really. What happened to this? Did it get hit by the Ihawk missile? This was shooting over there. Yeah, it must have done. It must have got hit by the Ihawk missile. He had that seed plane, it just never seems to be in the right place. That was a nice bombing run though, I think he got 2 tanks, and he is counter pushing here, so like something is happening. I mean, it would be pretty embarrassing if Blue lost this, but I think it's a very important lesson, and it's something that I seem to have to say a lot. If you buy loads of planes, you're probably gonna lose. If you buy them all at once, right, and you buy all your arty at once, you're probably gonna lose on the front line because your opponent's just gonna run at you, and those units take time to pay for themselves, right? Like, they are investments. Whereas a tank, you know, the tank shoots until the tank dies. Obviously, if you park it, obviously if you get your 4 best tanks and park them in the corner of the map and don't use them for the whole game, then obviously the tank doesn't shoot and the tank doesn't die. But generally speaking, people use their units. So, yeah, this guy's probably dead. You don't want your CV engaged for that reason, and I feel like he would have seen that coming because of the Eyehawk radar vision. And so he could have got out there a little bit faster. But yeah, he's taken this actually, so he's going to win, right? +2, 4 minutes. If this gets in, it's not a +2 anymore. And then these, like, you don't, I mean, I understand, oh, tall building, but, like, don't you want, like, this is satchels and stuff, so don't you want it there? Obviously, this is, like, a bullet magnet as well. Like, the recon one you have in a tall building, but these two, you should have, like, one there and one... The Thurman should be in, like, that building, because you don't want to be exposed to the front, because you want to sideshot the T-72s. So, more guys... Not unloading. The panic is setting in. Good. They should take all the warning labels off food. You know, off food, off like paint and stuff. Don't eat this. They should just take them off. Teach people lessons. Important lessons. Important lesson. Don't fast move into the side of the enemy. Important lesson. You will learn. I will teach you. For some reason, I'm not a teacher. UK. Do you not think you might need this here, given that there's a big blob coming towards all your zones? So. Because I assume the plan is to do an attack down this way, and that's why the CV's coming around. But he had like 9 CVs, so unless he's lost all of them and this is the last one. No, there's CVs here. Because, like, now you're losing that zone, you're going to lose that zone, and you can lose this zone, and, you know... Like, why don't you just buy a separate CV and send it that way if that's what you want to do? Yeah, so the counter push, Infantry Panave and Centurion Mark V2, broken combination, the core of the battle plan, right? No recon, sadly, usually you want one of these with it. Which is why you don't do that, because you want to buy all 6 of them over the course of the game. So is he going to unload this? He's got some, like, serious aversion to this zone with his infantry CVs. Yeah. Honestly, T-72s aren't a bad counter to the Centurions at this range. At this range, certainly not, but in general. The main issue is they don't have the range. But... because they've got so much armor and stuff, like they cost. You basically always want a tank that costs a little bit more. He is focusing the AA there, which is sensible, but there's just so much AA. After he saw what happened to the F-18, he shouldn't have sent that in. So the enemy's now on a +7, and I guess it'll go down to a +5 soon. Although he's off-road, so that maybe not so soon. And like, imagine if this was here. I don't. That's so strange. It's almost as strange as the thing with the auto cell, but you'll notice that hasn't been happening a lot because he tends to bring his things in. Like, there's very few things actually arriving in trucks. These Scots can't be sold, so we've not seen more of that. But, like, yeah, these aren't selling. You know, I have auto cell on, right? So you probably should too. Like, do you know what I mean? If it's a setting that helps you. Because I know you're going to say, well, you tell me not to have it on, not to have it on auto cover, right? Yeah, you should have auto cell on. It's very strange. Anyway, it is actually happening. So he is attacking there. He didn't really... The CV's not there yet, and he doesn't have any AA. So all Red has to do is buy a helo, but I guess he's covering it with the fighters. More guys dying in the transports. More guys dying in the transports. They should be in the forest. Not only would it actually be able to shoot this, but also it would have the stealth. So he's using the smoke, although, you know, he's got 4 units, but he's 1v1ing. That was a crit. He got critted before. He got a crit before, so it's all fair, I suppose. Generally, like, you know, he should be trying to get this to there to, like, kind of stop these guys from just walking in, but... Yeah, I mean, this is so Jova. Even things like this, like, he's getting to the zone, and then, oh, yeah, okay, now I'm in the zone. And here are the helos. What a surprising outcome. That's why you bring that Bedford, which he does actually have in the deck, the Bedford AA truck, because then you've got a nice mobile AA platform which can sort of... Because yeah, you can use the jets, and you know, sometimes your enemy just doesn't resupply its cubs and so on, and... Yeah... So yeah, I guess it's, I guess Blue's just completely fucked. I don't know. And it really it comes down to the fact that he just bought 3 arty in a row and then bought like 4 or 5 planes. It was like at least 3 bombers and a fighter and the seed, right? And it just you know, I think it's a really good show. Like even like this guy, I assume his rank is not very high. No offense, mate. And even in that case, the opponent recognized, right? The opponent who manually shift queues his trucks back to spawn because he doesn't know he can just shift queue the sell order, right? Even he recognized that, oh, my enemy's buying loads of planes and arty, so I should just buy AA and buy tanks and push him out of all the zones. Like, he got that. So, yeah, air spam, I mean, unless it's like, oh, it's 6th West German versus 5th Panzer, and you're like, oh, this is, my div has bad AA. Unsurprisingly, it's bad versus an air div. Generally, air spam doesn't work if you respond to it properly. So it's an education problem, not a balance problem. And Red, honestly, did a pretty good job of responding to it properly. He just did everything really slowly, but he actually did all the right things. So yeah, this game's over. Blue doesn't have any units left. That's dead, and I assume this BRDM2 is coming down here. Looks like in 20 seconds he reaches the same conclusion. So yeah, just don't buy a bunch of Artium planes in a row. I've lost many games. I've lost games recently to that, right? So we've got rank 394 versus rank 5,236. So we'll go easy on him. He's only got 19 ranked games, right? I'll just go back and edit out all the times I flamed him. But yeah, if you're new in rank, just play 2nd Panzergren. It's, in some ways, it's more broken than Ostre. And it's just way easier to execute because you get IFVs. And IFVs are free combined arms. You don't have to think too hard because you get an anti-tank, an anti-infantry, and an infantry in one purchase. And you just put those with your tanks and you're all sorted. Ostre, you don't get the IFVs. You don't get Helo ATGMs, so you can't stop those armoured breakthroughs too easily. And your planes, like, you know, the Tornado IDSs are also broken. The Leopard 1 is not as good as the Centurion Mark V2 DK. It's a cost efficiency issue, but you get better forward deployment, you get better infantry AT, the Pioneer Flam's busted, so yeah, if you're new, you know, play 2nd Panzergren. And then you get like, yeah, but I don't want to, that's broken. Well, you're playing Ostre, so... Anyway.